In this video, we'll be going over how to read an MLS sheet, how to interpret the data for the individual property, as well as how to set your clients up with automatic emails. So right now I don't have a property in front of me to view, but we can either type in a property that you were looking to search yourself, or we can go to the hot sheets for any particular area, and we'll just pick a few towns in Essex County that I already had checked off. Residential, so we'll have new, back on the market, expired, price change. Even do some under contract as well, just to see it. We have a whole list of properties that we could choose from. So let's see if this is a good listing. So this listing is fairly filled out, so we can always go over this one. So we have a few different options to be able to get started with this. First, we have the top bar. So if you have a list of properties that you're going through, you can control by going to previous and next through this panel up here. You want to make sure that you're using the MLS to go forward and back if you're looking through listings, just because if you hit the back button, it doesn't really work that well. It'll just bring you back to the previous page, and if that's not what you were looking to do, it can be kind of confusing. So just use the tools at the top if you're looking to navigate. You can show empty fields, select. If you select this listing, it'll just mean that it's pretty much queued up and ready to go if you were to email it or print this out. So you could deselect, or you could keep it selected and just print it. You could also go to the print settings, and you can close the tab through here as well, and it'll bring you back to the original hot sheet page. You also have the left-hand side. We can start with media. It's the same thing as if you click the photos to be able to get to the photos section. So you can either click the photos up here, or you could just click the photos here, and then you can scroll through the house with your keys. Also under media is where you would find any MLS attachments. So if they had the lead-based paint or seller's disclosure uploaded to this page, you would have them under documents. If they had any additional links or whatnot, that would be populated here as well. Any virtual tours would show up under this category as well. You can always click the link to view the open houses. The listing archive will tell you, what the listing information for the property was, what was going on with the listing. So if you want more information on this particular one, you could always click it and it'll show, relevant information for this listing. The tax report, if you click this, it'll take you to the tax record, where you'll be able to find out, additional information, property owner's name if it's not already on here, which it is. You can find additional tax information as well for like the previous years and how much it's gone up by. Additional tax data, Remine, which definitely click that. We can make a different video on Remine, but don't worry about that right now. Street map view, lockbox information, again, print and print settings as you see on the top here as well. Report settings, and then again you can close it just like you have under the tab over there. Underneath the top bar you have custom reports. We don't have any selected custom reports, but you can always change, like if you're looking to print out an MLS copy that you want to be able to give to your client, you don't want to give them the information with the agent's name and the agent's contact information. Like this is not the information that is that your client is supposed to see. So whatever the first page is that you're looking to print, if you want to print that for yourself, that's fine. But you definitely want to go to the reports up at the top. Select client full. This will give the full information that is, legally you're allowed to, or like under the rules and regulations that you're allowed to give to your client. You select that. It'll change up the page, and it takes away some information that you would normally be able to give this. And some MLSs don't automatically do that when you print. This one doesn't as well. So you want to make sure, if you're going to be giving a listing sheet to your client, make sure you change it to client full so that they don't have any of the other agent's information or any information regarding your compensation, as that should not affect, their willingness to buy the property. So we're going to switch back to agent full so that we can go over exactly how to interpret this as the agent. So again, I already showed you by clicking on the photos that the photos pop up. Next to the main photo, you have the MLS number. So you don't have to type in the property address after this. If you want to copy this number down and search regarding this number, you can do that. Or if you do remember the property address, you can search using that as well. It's completely up to you. Status. Status A is for active. If it has a little asterisk right next to it, that would mean that it's in attorney review, but this property is only as active. The section and zone, they don't have it filled out in this particular one. Every town has different sections to it. It's just more additional information to give your clients and easier to search by. They actually have the section as Upper Montclair, which I know that this is in Upper Montclair. I'm surprised that they didn't put it under the section up here. But they don't have to do that. But they put it in the remarks, and it would be a little bit easier to search, for your client if it was under the section, so you could then go ahead and try and search using that term. But that's quite all right. All the way to the right, we have list price. So it's listed at $9.99. And below that, we have OLP, which is the original list price. So if these two numbers were different, that would mean that they either increase or reduce over time, which most people end up reducing over time if the property doesn't sell. So maybe in 30 to 60 days, maybe they would, if they did not sell or get any accepted offers, maybe they would reduce it to $9.50, and this number would stay at $9.99. So this number is fixed, and the list price can always change. Underneath the status, up at the top left, you have the rooms. So this is not the bedrooms. This is just total rooms for the property, which include bedrooms, kitchens, dining rooms, bathrooms, that kind of stuff. So this is a fairly larger house. It's got 14 rooms in total. Under that, you have the bedrooms, which is 5, 3 full baths, 3 half baths, the zip code for this particular property. And we're just going to go down this line. I wouldn't worry about our zip. You already have the zip code up here. You don't need that additional information. Block is 1805. Lot is 31. So that's going to be useful because you need that to be able to fill out the contract of sale. So when you're putting in an offer letter, that information is definitely 2 points that you have to put up on the contract. Underneath that, you have unit number, floor number, a building number. This would be filled out if they had, if this was like a condo or a townhome in a community. It's much more likely that it'll actually be a unit number or floor number. Also, a rental that's in like a rental complex would have that as well. But since this is a residential single-family home, that's not going to have that information. FHA 55 plus says is no. So if this was in an adult community where they do have specific age requirements, this is where it would be checked off as yes, but they don't. Pets, yes, that means that yes, you can have pets. And no, there's no restrictions because it is a single-family home. If we were looking at a rental, or if we were looking at an apartment or a condo complex or a townhome complex, pets would definitely be something you have to check for and see what the rules are, because they might have some certain pet restrictions. Going back up here, you can ignore the magnet for GRS and MSJR. High school is Montclair High School. And these are for middle school and grade school for magnet. Acres are 0.19 acres, which it also has the lot size underneath, which is 55 by 150. That's important information for your client. Also, if you're looking, if you've been looking at properties for a client, or if they say that, hey, we want a big backyard, that's pretty subjective. You could have somebody moving from New York City that doesn't have a yard at all, and it could be what you think is a small yard could be a big yard to them. So that's the kind of information you want to go over with them, but also just to know intuitively, okay, as you start looking for properties and they say, you know what, this yard's pretty small, something with a similar lot size or acres, if they think that that's small, it's going to be pretty uniform amongst those types of properties. So if a lot size of 50 by 100 is too small for your client, then you might want to eliminate all the other properties you're looking at that are 50 by 100 if that is that high up on their criteria where they're just not going to buy a house with a lot of that size. So it's just something to keep in mind if they mention it or if that's important to them. But otherwise, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Square feet, it doesn't have it displayed here. In another video, we'll go over the tax record and the tax report, which, if it's not on the MLS, sometimes it actually has the square footage of the property on the tax record, or at least it's more likely to appear on the tax record. So we'll look at that in another video, but you could go to tax report for that. Tax data might have that as well. CLR, don't worry about it. CL, don't worry about it. GardenStateMLS.com is yes. So that means to display on the Garden State website. So if somebody's looking for homes on the Garden State website, it just means it's going to appear on that as well. Year built, description, and renovation. That's all those and what they're checked off. So its year built is 1918. Description is approximate. So they're not sure exactly what year it was built, but it was somewhere around that time. And then the description under renovation it was renovated in 2019. Property subtype is P subtype. This is a single family home, which we already knew, and a style of a colonial style home. These are all search terms that you can use when searching for a property that we'll go over later when we're actually creating searches or searching for properties in general for our client. But if you have a client that's looking for a specific type of property, whether it be colonial, ranch, Cape Cod, etc., it's just one of the styles that you can actually search by. So you can get one particular style of home as your search. We already looked at the list date or the list price and the original list price. Underneath that is the SP, which would be sale price. But we're not looking at comparables right now. We're not looking at past sales. So again, these are active properties. It's not going to have a sale price, obviously. LD is going to stand for list date. So this is the day the property was listed, which at the time of making this video was December 2nd, 2019, and that was 2 days ago. Under contract date, again, it doesn't have an accepted offer, so it's not under contract. Active contract date, closing date. Again, this property did not close, so we don't have the date for it to actually close. ADM stands for active days on market, so how many days it's been on market, and days on market is 2. Sometimes these numbers are different. You could always get a property that's listed, and they could say something like, no showings until Thursday. And if it was, listed on Wednesday, then you would have something like active days on market by 1, or days on market would be 1, and active days on market could be 0 because it's just not able to be shown. Terms would be the list of terms that could appear on the property. They don't have any listed. Underneath the picture over here, and this is a disclosure for dual agency, which they have it's checked off as yes. Directions, Valley to Marion. So directions, they require that you have the different streets that you drive down to get to this particular property. Underneath remarks, you have the description that the agent filled out for the property. So we won't go over all of that, but if you read through this, it'll give you a more comprehensive detail of how the property is and what changes were done to it, and just pretty much like the sales pitch from the agent's perspective and in the agent's words. So just know that this is all filled out by the listing agent for the most part. This entire page, and then this is what's appearing on Zillow and Trulia, Realtor.com, all those other websites. This is the information that's appearing. Agent remarks does not show up on the internet. This is just for the agents to see. So this fireplace, chimney, and flues conveyed as is. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't work. They're just saying if there are any issues with this, that you're purchasing the property as is, and you're not going to be looking for, those to be in working order or any type of condition, at any point through the transaction. So that's definitely important information to relay to your client prior to putting in an offer. Because let's say they did want to put in an offer, you would definitely want to let them know that, because that might affect how much they would be willing to pay. Under this section, you have interior, so the interior for the property and the relevant information as a result. So appliances included would be carbon monoxide detector, cooktop gas, dishwasher. So all the appliances that are included. When you'll be showing a property and you'll have that come up quite often from your client. It's just like, are the appliances staying? Will the washer and dryer be staying? What is going to be included in the property? And you can actually tell them based off of this. And this is information you want to save and have it printed out, because you don't want at any point in the transaction, if any of these things were removed or at the final walkthrough, you come in, like, let's say the dishwasher or the oven was promised in the sale like it is here, and they take that with them as they move out, then this would be like a breach of the information they provided under the MLS, and that could be a pretty big problem. Underneath that, you have basement. It says yes, it does have a basement, and it's a finished basement, and it's a full basement. Dining room, formal dining room. Fireplace, there are two. It says one in the bedroom and one in the living room, so it's pretty cool. Floor is tile and wood throughout, so most likely tile in the kitchen, maybe the bathrooms, and wood in all the other rooms. Over here we have interior features. Carbon monoxide detector, fire extinguisher, smoke detector, soaking tub. As just some of the interior features that this property has. Kitchen as an eat-in kitchen, which means it's got a little extra space for a table to be able to have meals in that kitchen. Master bedroom has a fireplace, so this master BR stands for master bedroom, and it's just letting you know that that one bedroom that the fireplace was in is actually the master bedroom. Master bath has a stall, shower, and a tub, so just that standing shower, and as well as a tub in addition to that as well. Driveway, 6 means that there's like spots for 6 cars and 1 car width, so there's probably a pretty big back area, as you can see from this picture as we're going through, for they say 6 cars to be able to fit. We'll take their word for it on this one. Underneath that, you have brick and wood as the exterior. So that would just be the siding for the property, and we'll get to that in a second. So as you can see, you have brick siding and then wood siding as well. So let's check this out as well. Exterior features, curbs, patio, sidewalk, and storm windows. These are all additional features, and you can read through that and look through the pictures to verify this stuff. But if those things are important to your clients, at least you can read through and say, like, if a client wants a property with a patio or prefers a property with a patio, you would know that prior to sending, because you have that information. A garage, it's a 2-car garage, it says, and the garage is detached, meaning it's separate from the property and you have to walk outside to be able to get to the garage. Lot description, level lot, so it's just saying that the ground is level. Pool, is it no? Roof is asphalt and shingle. and it'll have different types of roofs, but that's the most common one. Under exterior and other features, we have room dimensions. And so this actually tells you which rooms are on which floor. And if the agent puts in the dimensions, which this particular agent did not, it would have that information as well. So it just has living room as first floor, dining room first floor, master bedroom second floor, the second bedrooms on the second floor. So it looks like all the bedrooms are on the second floor at least, and there's a fourth bedroom that's on the third floor. So it looks like a finished attic of some sorts. We won't bother reading through all of this stuff, but this just reiterates that level B is just basement, level 1, level 2, level 3, and just all the bedrooms that this property ends up having. For heat, it tells you how many units it has for the house. So it's just one unit with forced hot air, radiators, hot water. So it looks like it has kind of a different heating system for this property. But if somebody asks, you can say it has forced hot air, and it also does have radiators in some of the rooms that are hot water. Cooling is one unit, central air, so central air throughout the house. Fuel is natural gas. Service cable TV available, that's just kind of like a thing that's stated that they just selected. That's pretty common though. Sewer, public sewer. Utilities, electric and gas are the utilities used for this property, so no other strange ones. Water is public water. Water heater uses gas. Below is all the tax information that you could read through with the different building assessments, land assessments, total assessment for the property. The total assessment and these valuations have nothing to do with the value of the price. That's just how the township assesses the taxes on it. So if you have a client that's ever like, well, why is the total assessment worth $678 and they want $1 million for the property? That has nothing to do with the actual valuation. This is just simply using the algorithm that they're using to be able to calculate tax. So owner of the property, this is under an LLC, so this was most likely like a flip of some sorts. Instructions for how to show, no showing until the open house on the 5th. Call or text the listing agent to show the property. So this is just how to show this particular property. It has the possession at closing, which means you can't possess the property prior to closing. And is there a sign on the property? Yes. The office, this is Keller Williams' office, so just the realtor office or the brokerage firm this office actually is. The agent information, you could click these links and it'll take to more information like the broker's phone number, the office address, the office phone number, and clicking the name next to the listing agent, the listing agent will bring you to that agent's email and phone number if they have that information filled out, which is important if you're looking to give the agent a call, ask additional questions for the property. Also has Jessica's number here, so this is most likely her cell phone under the instructions. So you could always use that as well. But maybe, if you had a client that was interested in writing up an offer, you could just take the email address directly off the MLS and send it. But I would always call or text the agent first to make sure that that's the email that they prefer to use for offers. So this is just all the listing office information, different phone numbers, and you can click these links to verify which is which, but it'll have the phone number next to the brokerage firm's name. This is most likely the office address, and this right here we can actually verify is the listing agent's phone number. This is the compensation, so it looks like 2.5% minus $150 for the listing fee. Exclusive right to sell for this particular property. Sub-agents, they're giving no commission. This is a disclosed dual agent, so they have that agreement signed. Variable commission, no, so they don't have any particular agreement to reduce the commission at any given time. Transaction broker, they're not giving a commission to either. So this video went a little bit longer. than I had anticipated. So we'll separate this into like its own category, and I'll make another video for actually setting up the automatic searches for your clients. But we'll stop this one here.